Okay, so we're going to do this on a scale of -3 to 3 for some of the national teams as we enter the international window. And Tommy Scoops, you're going to start us off with the USMNT. So let's read the vibes here. What do you got for us?
-3. There's no pressure. This is easy.
Is it that bad?
What in theory could be worse vibes than it is right now? You've got a team that lost 4 matches in a row before the Gold Cup, including a 4-0 drubbing against Switzerland, who are good, but they're not Argentina, France, Germany, whatever, right? You have the best player and the manager publicly bickering with each other. At least Pulisic's back in the team now. You have a manager who is not calling, like he gets to call in whoever he wants. Obviously, there are a lot of fans who are disagreeing with his selections. There's some things that I've heard behind the scenes about some of those individual players who have not been called in that seems to be he's making a point to those players. So the results aren't there. The manager's bickering with the players, and the fans, they hate everybody. They hate each other. They hate the selections. All of this. I can't think of a realistic scenario in which the vibes could be worse than right now.
But how would you assess the job that Poch has done in the player management so far? Just the relationships with the players, because there's been some chatter about that too.
Yeah, I mean, listen, he's trying to hold the team to a higher standard, and this is how he thinks he's going to get the best out of the group. He deserves to have this option and everything. It's just not being popular. So we'll see exactly how this goes. If they advance at the World Cup, everybody forgets about all of this. But right now, would you pick them to do that? I'm not sure.
This man looks stressed. He just looks stressed.
Well, going into this moment and going to the tournament, that was the look he definitely had. I mean, look, before I get to Canada, I just want to say they did make it to the final of the Gold Cup, and there were players that did come out of it. So yes, -3. Okay, I'm going to give him -2. Pulisic is back. Let's see what he cooks with.
All right, JD, do you agree with these ratings?
Well.
I'm giving I would say a -3, but it's only adding to the story. Remember what we said earlier this week about the success of this team in the next 12 months? Just remember we said this.
Oh,
-3 will lead up to what we're going to call a World Cup to remember forever. Yeah, just remember
That's right,
this.
yeah, because JD thinks that Christian Pulisic is winning the Golden Ball at the World Cup, in case you missed that yesterday. Okay, Lahoud, you're going to give us a vibe rating on Canada now.
Yeah, I put my dreads on the line, put my neck on the line going into the Gold Cup. Going into the Gold Cup, seriously, my pick to win was Canada. At that time, I still rated Canada as the best team in Concacaf. The momentum was there. I know Mexico won the Nations League, but I thought Canada was that much better than Mexico. Mexico is now the big dog. My rating, I give them a 1. The disappointment against Guatemala, it was there for the taking, and then Jacob Schaffelberg happened with the red card. And it was the stubbornness of Jesse Marsch that now this is on him. All eyes are on Jesse Marsch because all the talking he's done off the pitch, at the end of the day, you need to back it up on the pitch at a time where kind of the landscape is changing in CONCACAF. And I just want to point out one player. You think of CONCACAF, you think of Canada, Jonathan David, yes, Kyle Larin have passed, but one player that was not at the Gold Cup, leadership is what I'm looking at for Canada. Steven Eustáquio is the most important player for Canada. Ooh. In my opinion. He was not at the Gold Cup. He was at the Club World Cup with FC Porto. You saw the sieve that was in the middle of the park. His presence back in the Canadian national team would lead them back into good standing to get to maybe 2, possibly 3.
I think you're right. I think there's something really happening very special in terms of the wider thing of Canada sports. I think the same pressure that's on the football team is the same pressure that's on the basketball team. They've never had an array of talent like this in such a condensed period. Now can they make it all gel together with expectation on their shoulders? And you're right. That man, Jesse Marsch, has a lot of pressure on his shoulders, but can he make it click all at the right time? This is the difference between a good manager and an excellent one. And if he has that excellent trait, then this is a recipe for success because they've got the quality. All the players are there. It's just making it tick at the right.
All right, JD, multi-sport athlete, bringing in Canada basketball.
I love that comparison. I love that comparison. Yeah. It's also one for me. I agree with everything that Lahoud said in terms of the Gold Cup left a bad taste in the mouth, but this is still a generally positive team. I will say one thing I disagreed. You said the talking off the field is done. When that manager, the talking off the field is never done. So that's also part of the vibes too. The honeymoon period for Jesse Marsch is over. Yeah. It's still a great hire. I think he's a really good manager. But the fans are beginning, like when you lose to Guatemala on penalties and then you start walking back some things from the Gold Cup, it's like, all right. And now we're at the point, the honeymoon's over and they're going to the World Cup.
Completely agree. Okay, next up, we're coming to you, JD. How are the vibes with England, my friend?
I'm going to say 0. I think that's fair. I'm going to try to be fair because I noticed within the media they really do pressure. See, they pressure this guy a lot, he came in and I feel Thomas Tuchel came in and there was a lot of expectation on because of his reputation already domestically, but he hasn't really had an opportunity to showcase what he can do. Can I get a consistency run of games? I know it's a short contract in terms of only a couple of years, but the focus in terms of what he's done from a domestic scene, both in a number of leagues, really, this is the best manager that I've seen in my lifetime be an England manager. So can we give him some patience? Can we give him some time? Can we allow him to find his squad, to find his players, to find his rhythms? Yes, there have been some questionable selections. We will say that. There have been some players that decided they wanted to come on a redemption tour.
It's a low bar.
Don't know why. But at the same time, I understand because those players, maybe not on the field, but off the field, are the glue. So where there's question marks on him, they can connect the changing room. And I feel like England has never had a connection of their changing room. If they can get that, then success at the World Cup should be a good thing for this guy. And we should be turning this into this.
Is it coming home?
No, don't.
Hey, I had to ask the $1 million question.
Jaydee, you say that this is the best manager they've had. How quickly you forget Sam Allardyce is all I got to say. I'm kidding. So for me, I'm going to take it from an American perspective. The vibes, it should be a 2. Look at the talent on this roster.
Yeah.
I didn't love the hiring of Tuchel, but his resume speaks for itself. Look at the U.S. national team, Canada, Mexico. All these teams would be dying for a third of kind of the options in the attack, in the midfield, everywhere else. And yes, the expectations come with that, and the pressure. It's probably like a -2 within England because it always is. But for us over here, when you're not an Englishman, fan of the team, whatever, it's a 2 because my God, look at all those players.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you're saying the same thing as we shift over to Nigeria on the continent of Africa. I know we had some fun and a laugh, but the vibes right now, if 3 is utter catastrophe.
-3.
-3. If -3 is utter catastrophe, -2 is absolute desperation. I'm going -2.
Okay.
Almost jumping to -3 because, yes, you have players like Chukwueze who are making moves to Fulham, but the problem of Nigeria in the last 2 World Cup cycles, they didn't qualify for the last World Cup. They lost to Ghana, but the problem with this team is twofold. It's arrogance at a group that they think is beneath them. They're finding out the hard way, and they cannot get results at home. There's an imbalance with this team, and the team has to be bigger than just Victor Osimhen, who is back in this camp. William Trost-Ekong is a player that I'm calling on to step up. It was his birthday recently. He captained them to the final of AFCON, and he was a damn good presence at the back, but he's had moments of madness in the back, and Nigeria can't keep a lead to save their lives, and that's why I leave you with this. I stick by what I said, and I'm going to call you out in the Jollof War. You are losing the Jollof Derby, and you're going to get knocked out of the World Cup. Simple as.
Mic drop.
He's by himself. I'm not doing none of this Jollof War. I'm not doing it. You know full well you just opened up a different can of worms.
Bring it. Hey, make the World Cup and prove me wrong about that.
Different conversation, but you know, my Mike, I have to agree. There is an actual disaster just looking at it. There's no way you can look at this squad list and say that Rwanda or Benin is supposed to be above you in terms of qualification, and you're struggling. The quality that's in this team, the excellence that's playing around Europe in this team, no way. But that tells you there's something wrong mentally. There's something wrong, and there's something that's not clicking. They need to get it together, and they need to get it together now.
Okay.
-1 for me because I still am optimistic about this group and making it to the World Cup, but obviously this very, very quickly dropped. This could drop, 10 minutes into a match if they're not looking good. Like, this is on a knife's edge. So -1 for me right now just because I think that they have too much talent to miss out, but that hasn't stopped teams in the past from missing out.